next to me. Oh! What in the hell is happening right now? What is up, my fellow alcoholics, and welcome to the channel. And as you saw in the thumbnail and with the title description, I will be going over the best attachments for the shotguns. And this was a long process. I have a headache right now just thinking about the headache that I had making this whole video and testing all of the shotguns and having the ranges checked out and everything. So what I pretty much came up with was I wanted to kind of express how important it is when using a shotgun, how important it is to ADS with shotguns. Now, in the past, and pretty much every Call of Duty that ever existed, aiming down sights wasn't really an option, except for Modern Warfare 2. Going back to Modern Warfare 2 and having the SPAS 12, the SPAS 12's pattern was the first time I ever noticed that a shotgun, while aiming down sight, the pattern that it had actually got super tight, and that's why the shotgun was so dangerous. Since then, they've had on and off occasions of shotguns in Call of Duties where aiming down sights, you know, the pattern would tighten and then it wouldn't tighten. Like it was just odd how they had the games and how they broke down shotguns, but a lot of the time people like to hip fire shotguns, and there's nothing wrong with that because of previous Call of Duties. Some shotguns were dangerous aiming down sights, and some shotguns were dangerous hip firing. So basically what I came to discover in this game, in Modern Warfare, when it comes to these slower firing shotguns like the pump shotguns, or I know the 7.25 fires fast, but it actually only has 2 shots, so after firing those 2 shots it has a longer reload time. Those shotguns tend to do much better aiming down sight than the other shotguns in the game. However, using the higher fire rate shotguns, or the what I like to call the spammy shotguns, they tend to benefit more from hip firing because you can pretty much spray them, you know, going down an aisle or a hallway, or going through a doorway where, you know, someone's camping, or if it's like a fatal funnel or like a high traffic area, you know, people are going to be passing through there. So what you've been watching on the screen is my examples of all of the shotguns while ADSing, or aiming down sights, with the longest barrel attachments and with the choke attachment. And as you can see with some of these, you know, with the pattern that's on the wall, you can see some bullets are hitting within the target, some are outside of the target, and I used every combination that I can get my hands on in the game to kind of show you guys that ADSing with some of these attachments, or aiming down sights with some of these attachments, are actually very beneficial. Now, I know Exclusive Ace did a episode on the Model 680, which he uses a monolithic suppressor, which is incredibly useful. I've used it in the gameplay on shipment. In this video, you're going to see me using it as well. It is very useful because of the fact that not only does the longest barrel of that 680, which he used in his videos and his example, tightens up the pattern of the pellet spread, but with the monolithic suppressor, it was also amplifying the damage output of each bullet. So it was extending his range, making it extremely lethal. And it really does make it extremely lethal. However, when applying the choke instead of the monolithic barrel, the choke tended to tighten the pattern even more, making it even more lethal, which was insane. And I've since switched from the monolithic to the choke, and I gotta tell you guys, like, running it on shipment, it's amazing. And even running it on hard hat, because it was recently hard hat 24/7, and I think it still is now as the drop of this video. Hard hat has some ranges where you shouldn't even be using a shotgun. And I was using the Model 680 with the longest barrel, which is the 30-inch sport barrel, and throwing on the choke, and I was two-shotting people at long range. If they were weak, like super long range, and I'm not kidding, but even if they were weak, it was a one shot because the pattern is so much tighter down range. And it's just, it's very beneficial to have. I have to tell you guys. So when I came across that, I just started throwing it on different shotguns. And to tell you guys the truth, using the longest barrel that you can put on the shotgun and using the choke, you do benefit a lot from it. Now, right here with this pattern, as you see with the Origin 12, a couple pellets did hit the center of the target, but a lot were outside of the target, and that was just with the barrel itself. But I threw on the choke with this Impaler barrel. This is the longest barrel you could put on the Origin 12. You can see the pattern is way tighter. There is nothing outside of the target. And that's, I mean, it's amazing. And that's a spamming shotgun. Like, you can spam the heck out of that while aiming down sights. And you're going to be having those tight patterns aiming at one person. You're going to get a lot of kills that way. So, in conclusion to this video, I mean, I know you guys have seen a lot and I haven't really spoke on all of this stuff as you're watching. But in conclusion, what I came up with was for the Origin 12, the Rogue, and the R9, you are going to want to run a hip fire favored loadout with those, because aiming down sights can happen and you can do that. But I highly recommend that if you happen to turn a corner and you see a target, start spraying them with your hip fire and then eventually ADS on them or aim down sights, because all you're doing is tightening up your pattern at that particular moment. So you're going to want to run the longest barrels, as you can see from all these examples that I'm throwing up here. You're going to run the longest barrels you can put on the guns with a choke. And then for the spamming shotguns, so like we're talking about the R9, and we're talking about the Origin, and we're talking about the VLK Rogue, you're going to want to run a 5 milliwatt laser on it. Okay, simply because you're going to be coming out of sprint a lot faster, and your pattern is going to be a lot tighter too. So this wall example here is what I have up here, is examples of what I just used the Model 680 as an example, and I took hip fire shots at every single one of these targets. And one of them was with the no barrel, one of them was with a 5 milliwatt, one of them was with the Liberator barrel, I believe is what it's called, and the 30-inch sport barrel. And as you can see, the patterns were tighter and tighter as they go. So as I back up here, I actually labeled every shot to kind of let you guys know exactly what I used on the Model 680. So the first one's a 5 milliwatt laser, then I used the Liberator and the choke, the 30-inch sport barrel and the choke, and then the last two were all three attachments on that particular shotgun. So we're talking Liberator, choke, 5 milliwatt, and then the last one was choke, 30-inch barrel, and then milliwatt, the 5 milliwatt laser. Now for these patterns on the wall, basically I took shots without the 5 milliwatt laser to kind of give you guys an example of the same, at the same distance I took the shots. And basically the first one is with no attachments, no barrels, so on the Model 680, and then the next one was with a choke only, and then the next one was with the Liberator only, and the last one was with the 30-inch sport barrel only. As you can see, with each barrel, it is doing what it's stating that it's doing, except for the Liberator. Now, the Liberator doesn't really tighten up as much, which was kind of surprising. So definitely keep that in mind when you guys want to use that Liberator barrel. Honestly, you're probably better off using the standard barrel with a choke. It tended to tighten up the pattern a lot more for some reason. Unless it's just a bug, I'm not really sure. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful for you guys. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And don't forget that notification bell for future uploads and future streams. I did my very best to kind of give you guys the best examples I can give you. I mean, I went through every shotgun with every attachment that supposedly tightens up hip fire spread and tightens up pellet spread. And hopefully the examples helped out for you guys and helping you make a decision for your shotguns. I know I have. I'm pretty much going to be running long barrels and chokes on my shotgun, even though being suppressed is nice. But I like having all that extra damage being put on the target. So until next time, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching the channel and sticking through all that testing. And I will see you guys on the next video.